Hey folks, Pepper Princess. So I wanted to talk to you briefly about the California power outages. But first, quick Rocky cameo. Say hi, Mr. Rocky cameo with his snorting. Oh, happy boy. Happy boy. Oh. He's always by my side. Okay, so I went to the gas station today and picked up some newspapers so I could show you guys. Frustrations growing as shutoffs continue. That's the San Francisco Chronicle, and then we've got the East Bay Times. Blackouts are underway. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on the PG&E power outages, and I didn't really make a video because I didn't think it was relevant because it's not SHTF. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but California is not dead in the water. It's a slight inconvenience for some people, but it is not. It's not what people are making out to be. I've seen a lot of channels that are saying panic in California, chaos in California, unprecedented level event is going on in California. And it does seem to be mainstream media news, but I live in California. I live in the affected area, okay? My house has not been affected, so I'm about 8 miles from the nearest affected facility or vicinity of these things going on. Now, I do have the Kodiak generator going. It is fully loaded and it's collecting power from the panels. It's powering my TV, my laptop, my modem, printer, what have you. It's powering this light that's right here. It's powering everything. I also have the Champion gas generator, which if my Kodiak, I'm using my Kodiak just for safety concerns because there is a strong breeze outside and I don't want anything to catch fire from the fumes of the generator just in case. If it were a dire emergency, I would have the generator going, both generators going. But I also have my lights that are fully charged and I'm pretty much set. You know, I'm a prepper. That's what preppers do. So I decided to today go to a couple of places. We were given months of warning about this. And I wanted to see, I went to Walmart to see how they were doing on water, milk, bread. Those are usually the first things that go. And I decided to go to one of the affected areas because it's not affecting my town, or at least where I live in my town. So I went to one of the affected areas and it's not pandemonium. People aren't stocking up on bottled water or, raiding the grocery stores or anything like that. Everything is fully stocked. So I decided also to go to Home Depot and the gas station to see what was going on. So when I went to Home Depot, there were still plenty of generators on the shelf. Seemed to be business as usual. And again, this was in one of the affected areas. Also went to a gas station. I did notice a little bit longer line for the gas station, but in that for like a Tuesday, I think it was. So the line was a little bit longer at the gas station, but again, it wasn't like out, blocks away. It was maybe 3 cars deep. So it wasn't really that bad. And, the media, we always hear about fake news, and this is partially fake news. I mean, it's not fake, but it's definitely being blown out of proportion. California is not, we're not accustomed to having the power go out. We're not used to it because we have amazing weather. It's not bad. We don't have ice storms or things that would cause the power lines to go out. People in the Midwest are accustomed, or even on the East Coast, are accustomed to that sort of thing, but it never makes the news. I mean, they can be without power for 1, 2, 3 weeks, and they're used to it. They're prepared, and it happens to a place like California, and people assume that, those silly liberals are going to, die in their own houses from lack of prepping or lack of knowledge, or they're going to run out of power and go crazy. But that's not what is happening. And despite what you see on the news, I would take it with a grain of salt. It's really nothing big is going on here. And I wasn't going to make a video about the PG&E power outages only because nothing's happening. Nothing is different. Now people are, putting pictures on the front cover of maybe one store that is affected in the entire town, and they just make it look empty and quiet and dark, and this customer must be totally distraught looking for his shampoo, and that's just not what's going on. There's also this picture of this gentleman using a lamp in his store and how awful it must be, and how, all of the stores must be out of power and running out of food, and it just must be awful. And this is not the case. With most of the power outages, it's only affecting half of the town that is affected. So if you live in, I'm just going to use an example. So if you live in Sonoma, half of the town will be without power, but the other half will have power. And there are emergency centers in all the major cities. When I say emergency centers, I just mean air conditioning and heating, water, and a place to charge your electronics, like your cell phone and your laptop and your tablet and things like that. So these centers are everywhere. It's really not a big deal. And I've seen a lot of preppers out there, prepper channels, who are giving their perspective from an outside point of view, but I am in California, in the affected area, and nothing is really going on. Yes, some people are without power, but it's not nearly as big of a deal as YouTube or the media is making it out to be, which is again why I wasn't even going to make this video in the first place, because there's nothing to report on. So I apologize if this video was not more to your liking for SHTF purposes, and I apologize if maybe you have gotten a little bit of disappointment from other YouTubers, but even though parts of California are without power, it's not what the media is making it out to be. It's really not a big deal. So I am with power. Even if the power goes out, I've got plenty of power. I've got my Kodiak, I've got my gas generator. If my grandma runs out of power, I'm going to go pick her up. Molly is in Pleasanton. If she gets affected, she has special medical needs, she'll be coming over. So, if anything happens, my family and I are taken care of. So make sure that if you do not have a generator, get one. You can get one on Amazon, whatever, but they are available on my website, prepperprincess.com. Do what you can with what you've got. Prepper Princess out.